All right, so today we are on day 3. First, we're going to go through these warm-up questions because we saw a lot of errors in the quiz, and that's okay. We're still learning. First of all, our important word here is domain. Domain is x values. Remember, every time you see this, you should be writing box, box, x, box, box, left to right. All right. And then on top of that, I know I'm dealing with x, so I want to delete my y numbers. A lot of us are still grabbing the y's. Again, that's okay, but we need to fix those mistakes. My farthest left number is this point right here, which is 0. I put that here. My farthest right number is 28, so I put it right here. So I need an answer that has 0 and 28. If I look at A, 0, 28. If I look at B, 0, 9. If I look at C, just 28. And if I look at D, just 9. So I know that B and D are out because they have 9. And I also know C is out because it doesn't have my 0. I need 0. 0 to 28. Okay? This is the one that was on your quiz last class. This is the one we all got wrong, but that's okay. Again, let's look at this. It says domain, 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 domain. So first, box, 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 x, box, box, left to right. Now, if I'm looking at domain, I'm just going to delete these y numbers real quick. And what I'm going to do is I have my left number, 0. I'm going to put that in my left box. And remember, we're looking at this line right here. So if I look at my next part, I see an arrow. If there's an arrow, I put an infinity. I don't need this side anymore. So my answer should only have the number 0, only 0. So A has 13, that's bad. B doesn't have 0, that's bad. C has 0, that's good. D has 0 and 50, that's bad. So my answer should be C. Oops, C. And the next one, I think y'all got this. Y'all don't need me to do it. So today we're going over solving equations, 5A, which is 3 questions on your ACP. That's 11% of your test. Then we're going over linear inequalities. That's true, false. That's 2 questions on your test. That's 7%. Then later we'll go over parallel. That's 1 question perpendicular, 1 question parallel and perpendicular to x and y axis, 1 question. But these are all kind of like the same skill, so I'd say it's like 3 questions. But in total, you are learning 30% of the test today. That is a huge number, so please make sure you're paying attention. If you have any questions, please let me know. All right, important words. We have solution, value of letter, so like value of x, value of p, value of r, any of these examples. It could be any letter, value of a, value of b, anything. We're going to do menu 3-1. Here's your daily dose of Dorian, super cute. Here's daily dose of Toby and his train, choo-choo, very adorable. Sorry. So we're going to be on page 4 today. We're going to be on page 4. It should look something like this. We're going to do 2 examples real quick over 5A. So we have what value of x makes the equation this true. Value of x is my important word. Value. So I have value of x. Value of x means menu 3, 1. So when I do menu 3-1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of this into my calculator. And remember, we want to do comma. The letter I'm looking for is x, comma, x. So I'm going to go to my calculator, calculate. Then I'm going to do menu 3-1. I have this. I'm going to copy it identical to what I see. So negative 6x plus 3 parentheses. See how I'm making a new parenthesis? I still have the old ones there. I'm making a new one. 12x. I'm ending the parenthesis. Equals 20. New parenthesis. X plus 1 in the parenthesis. Plus 15. Now, I don't want to forget this comma x. I'm going to do comma x. Now that I have typed all of it and I put comma x inside my parentheses right after copying everything, I'm going to put enter. And that gives me x equals 3.5. So that is my answer. So D would be my closest answer. Now, my next question. What is the solution to? Solution is my important word. And when you see the word solution, you're also going to think menu 3, 1. Both of these words mean menu 3, 1. But in this situation, I'm looking for y. So I'm going to do comma y. So menu 3, 1, 6y minus, to get this fraction right here, we're going to do control divide. So control divide 13, go to the bottom, 2 plus 3y equals negative, control divide again, 57, go to the bottom, 2. Now, to do the comma, we need to go to the right side like that, comma, y, enter. That's going to give me y equals negative 2.44444. But I noticed that none of my answers are that. So what I want to look at is, I have a negative sign right here. Let me choose a different color. I have a negative sign right here. I also have a negative here and a negative here. So I know for sure, my answers cannot be A or C. My answers cannot be A or C because the negative is not there. I'm looking for something with a negative sign. So A or C. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put my answers, I'm going to put these into Desmos to change them. Okay? I'm going to put these into Desmos to change them. So I'm going to go to Desmos right here. I'm going to do negative 12 divided by 5, and that gives me negative 2.4. That's close. Let's check D just to make sure. Negative 31 over 9. That gives me negative 3.4. So B would be my closest answer. So B would be my answer. Oops. All right, so now let's look at the next one. I have, now we're going to enter into 3D inequalities. I have inequality, dotted line, solid line, true, false, shaded area, which is always true. The shaded area is always true. The white area, which is always false. Solution set, shade down, shade up. Here's your daily dose of Dorian with Santa. How adorable. And then here's Santa getting his little, oh, where'd it go? Santa getting in his little train. Super cute. All right, so we're going to do 3D. So this first question says, which ordered pair below is in the solution to inequality x minus 2y less than 2? Select 2 answers. My most important word here is 2 answers. I need 2 answers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this over here. And I like to do this with a whiteboard, but I understand if you don't like to do it with a whiteboard. So for A, I'm just going to write A, x minus 2y greater than 2. Then I'm going to write B, x minus 2y less than 2. I mean, C, D, E. And I'm just going to write the same thing. X minus 2y less than 2. X minus 2y less than 2. X minus 2y less than 2. Now, here's the super important part. Our x is always first. In a point, it's always x, and then comma y. That's too dark. Comma y. So always x, then comma y. So my first one, x, and then y. So right here, I'm going to put parentheses around all my x's, and I'm going to fill them in. A is 0, so I'm going to put 0 here. B, or let's go to my y, negative 2, put parentheses around my y. Negative 2. Now for B, I have negative 2, so negative 2. And this time my y is 0, so I'm going to put 0 here. Now for my x on C, it's 2, just 2. And then my y is negative 1, so negative 1. Now for D, I have 1, and then 6. I need y'all to start writing these out because a lot of y'all like to just do them in the calculator, but then y'all are writing them wrong. So make sure you're writing them first and then putting them in the calculator. That'll save you a lot of errors. Okay, now I'm going to put each of these in the calculator. So we're going to go to the calculator. We're going to put A in. Okay, A. So A is parentheses, 0, close the parenthesis, minus 2, open parenthesis again, negative 2, close the parenthesis. Now to get the symbol right here, we have to do control equals. So control equals, and I pick the right one. So this one matches, and then I put 2. And I'm going to press enter, and that gives me false. So I know that A is false. Now let me put B. B says parentheses, -2, close the parentheses, minus 2, open parentheses, 0, close the parentheses, control equals the symbol 2, and we press enter, and that gives me true. This one's true. So I know I'm looking for, it doesn't say the word not, so I'm looking for true. Looking for true. So I know B is one of my answers, but I still have to keep going because I need 2 answers. So C says parentheses, 2 parentheses, minus 2 parentheses, -1, close the parenthesis, less than 2, enter, and that gives me false. So I know C is false, so it can't be my answer. So now let's try D. Parenthesis 1 in the parenthesis, minus 2 parentheses 6 parenthesis, control equals for that symbol, pick the right one, and then 2, enter. That gives me true. So this is true right here. I'm not going to do E, but in good practice, you should do E just in case you made a mistake. But I don't want y'all to have like a 20-minute video. All right, so next question. It says, which graph best represents the solution set of x plus 2y greater than or equal to 2? The big thing we have to know here is that when you have one of these symbols, it is a dotted line. Okay? Now, if you have one of these symbols, it's a solid line. Okay? Now, I like to remember it by, if you can draw 2 little arrows, this makes a solid line. That's the only trick I really know. So, in this situation, this symbol is solid. So, if I look at my answer choices, I have solid. So, I'm looking at, just so you know what I'm looking at, I'm looking at this line, this line, this line, and this line. So, then A is solid, B is dotted, C is solid, and then D is dotted. So I know I'm looking for solid, so that means I'm going to get rid of D and B. They're not good, okay? Now, the biggest thing we want to do is now we want to pick a point in my shaded area, okay? So you want to pick a point in your shaded area. Let's see. So what I mean by shaded area is, I mean this part right here. All of this is my shaded area. That's where I want, and right here. That's where I want to pick a point. So those are where I'm going to pick a point, and I want true. Shaded area, want true. Okay. So I think I want to, let's just start over here. What I really like is I like these points right here, like this point right here, because my x is 2, my y is also 2. I love points like that. Or like right here, this is 0, 0. Okay? I like points where if we plug in any number, it won't be wrong. Because if you plug in 2, 2, they're the same. So I'm going to write x plus 2y greater than or equal to 2. Now, if I use my point 2, 2, this is answer choice A. I'm going to put 2 right here, 2 right here, and then I'm going to try true, false. So parentheses, 2, oh, no. So I have parentheses, 2, parentheses, then we have plus, plus, 2, 2, parentheses, another 2, parentheses, then I choose control equal to choose a symbol, boom, 2, enter, and that gave me true. So A is true, this one's true. That means it's my answer. C is going to be false. It can only be true for one or the other. All right, so now let's try the last example. Woo! All right, the graph of 2x minus 5y equals 10 is shown on the coordinate grid. Which points are in the solution set of 2x minus 5y greater than or equal to 10? Select 4 correct answers. So just to go over this again, you have, if you were to draw a line right here, right? That splits the graph. That splits the graph. Your answer choices that go together. You have A is on the same side of the red line as B, and C is kind of like parted, and D is kind of parted. So those all go together. Or you have E is on the same side as F, which is also part of the C is there, and part of D is there. So it can either be the green answers or the purple answers. So you could not put A, E, and F. Those are not good because green is over here. Like this line, this red line splits up the graph. So A, B, C, D, or E, F, C, D. Those can be your options. That's it. So I can pick any of these points to do true false with. That's it. So I'm going to write 2x minus 5y greater than or equal to 10. So if A comes back true, all of these are true. But if A comes back false, then my purples are my answers. Okay. So to pick a point, I think I'm going to choose B just randomly. You can pick whichever one you want. So this is 9, 8. So for my x, that's 9. For my y, that's 8. So my x is 9. My y is 8. Now I'm going to do true false like we have been doing. So 2 parenthesis 9 parenthesis minus 5 parenthesis 8 parenthesis control equals 10. Enter. And that gives me false. So my greens are false. If my greens are false, that means my answers are going to be the purples. C, D, E, and F. Oh, those are my answers. So that means technically, if you want to think about it, that's where we're going to color the gray part. That would be the shaded area. That would be where your answers are. I think that's it for today. Make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day. Do the class kick. I think it's like maybe 8 questions. Bye.